Welcome to Fluff, you sexy bitches. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing. For everybody on Twitch right now watching this live, you should be able to hear the music that's playing. Now, for the people who watch this afterwards on the VOD, it should not be on there anymore. And for people on YouTube, the music won't be on there anymore either. That's okay, actually, now that I think about it, hold on. Now it should definitely not be on there anymore because I just realized I'm playing the music out loud, so the microphone will catch it. Because I have made it set up so that whenever you hear the Spotify music, it should be on a different. So I got something downloaded that allows me to split the Spotify desktop and microphone to like 3 different paths. So anything that's on the desktop right now and anything that's on Spotify right now are 2 different tracks. Which means that when I now upload this on Twitch, VOD, and YouTube, the track where the Spotify music is coming from, that will be silent automatically because it's on the Twitch VOD that's not supposed to be on there. And so on and so forth, yes. But of course, if I play the music out loud, then the music will go through my microphone and be on. It will be on the track that it shouldn't be on. So yeah, which of course is a bit problematic because I have to wear headphones. But I mean, these headphones are comfortable. If I had my old headphones, where after like an hour it gets uncomfortable to wear, I would have hated this. But now I got some nice, comfy headphones anyway, so might as well keep on doing that. Oh yeah, the only thing as well, I have to actually go here to reduce the volume a little bit, but I don't want to reduce it too much so you guys cannot hear it anymore. I have to like check how this works. So if I increase this, yeah. And if I do the same thing on here, I see, but then I won't be able to hear my own music. I see. Interesting. Okay, so let me just make it so for you guys it's nice and clear, and for me it's softly in the background. That's why it doesn't. What just happened to my window capture? Oh yeah, because I did this. Hopefully that fixes it. Not fully. Okay, let me just go fix that back up real quick. It's this. Nope. It's this button. Nope. Keep forgetting which one. This one it is. There we go. It's all fixed. All right. I'm still trying to experiment, as the title on Twitch says. It's a bit of an experiment with the face. But it should all be fine. It should all work. Alrighty then. The only thing, of course, the reason why like having music to something I read is a bit problematic is because I probably will get distracted by the song a couple times. But other than that, we should be fine. Let me ask somebody to. Hey, when you get. Okay, but other than that, I think we can now finally start. I'm sorry this took me like 7 minutes. Okay, here we go. Gaia's blood. Well, we already know that Gaia is the Greek name for the Titan that's supposed to be Earth in Roman Terra. So what if she's Who stabbed Mother Earth? That's what I think. Somebody stabbed her. Ooh, that's a lot of red text waiting for me to open up. Okay, I can increase the music volume just a tiny bit because I also want to jam a little bit. Come on, I mean it's safe. Euclid Keter. So special oh yeah, also the sounds. Okay, should work. That's the desktop section, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check that. Yes, it is. Okay. Okay, special containment procedures amended, revised. 2000. A single sample of SCP-1100 is stored in a triple redundant hermetically sealed container, which is to be stored in an evacuated, reinforced containment chamber at site. The container must be checked daily for deterioration. If necessary, the sample must be transferred to a new container via procedure 1100-233/J to prevent any possible vaporization. All direct experimentation on SCP-1100 has been suspended pending further investigation. In the case of wild outbreaks of SCP-1100, mass deployment of defoliants and desiccants must be enacted within a 1 kilometer radius from all infected areas, and a 12-month quarantine established to monitor for additional outbreaks. The use of nuclear or chemical weapons establish a public, yeah, that's definitely it. Establish a public diversion may be authorized by at least 3 level 4 personnel. Is this the first SCP that we ever read where it started off as safe, then became Euclid, then became Keter? Because I know there's a couple that's jumped from Euclid to Keter, or from safe to Keter, or from Euclid to safe, and so on and so forth. But is this the first SCP where it jumped twice to a different object class? Interesting. But here we have more. Archive, Special Containment Procedures Amended, Revised. 1990. And for myself, go reduce the volume of, let's see. Yeah, there we go. Now the volume is a nice comfortable level for myself for that part. Dirty as shit once again. Special Containment Procedures Amended, as I just did that, yep. Samples of SCP-1100 have been moved to a high-risk, secure biohazardous material storage at Biocontainment Site 26, following the loss of Biocontainment Site 33. Experimentation on SCP-1100 may only be performed with prior approval from at least 2 level 3 personnel and must observe all level 4 biohazardous materials handling guidelines. Okay. In the case of wild outbreaks of SCP-1100, mass deployment of defoliants and desiccants must be enacted within a 200-meter radius from all infected specimens, and a 6-month quarantine is established to monitor for additional outbreaks. So hard to understand. Special containment procedures. Samples of SCP-1100 are kept within secure biohazardous materials storage at Biocontainment Site 33. Experimentation on SCP-1100 may only be performed with prior approval from at least 1 level 3 personnel and must observe all level 3 biohazardous materials handling guidelines. I'm also thinking for the future to download iTunes for the Windows, because that's where I have way more songs on. So yeah, because Spotify don't have it all. Spotify only has like a third of what I listen to, so yeah. Description: amended, revised, 2000. SCP-1100 is a highly dangerous complex organic substance that causes anomalous transformation in in natural plant and animal life. Despite being composed primarily of heavily proteins and redacted, SCP-1100 will spontaneously vaporize into aerosol form and can also be transmitted by direct contact with infected subjects, pollen, dander, and other excretions. Infected plant and animal subject will transform over the course of 24 hours, which includes, but it's not limited to. I just realized something. Because usually when I read this, I have like lo-fi on or some sort of like rain or fireplace sounds. But now because I'm listening to music, I don't have it on naturally. I could technically I could get that so that YouTube still. Hey, anybody on the YouTube side, if you could comment, I'm not sure if you're going to see this part, but if you could comment if you would prefer that there's still some sort of like sound in the background, like I said, the fireplace, forest sounds, beach sounds, while I mean, with the stream, it will definitely mix a little bit with the music. I mean, as long as it's only that type of sound, I don't think it's going to be that bad. Like, music and forest sounds is not a bad combination. But since the music will be muted for the YouTube video, it's going to be just silent. So yeah, you just tell me if you would prefer to have some sound in the background, so it's just not me just talking. In case anybody watches this far in, and my lip is acting up. Okay, here we go. Plants with bulbous sections or large fruit undergo exotic chemical transformations and become filled with explosive or caustic substances that burst violently from the affected section when disturbed by humans. Plants with long tendrils or vines gain muscle-like internal structures that allow them to grasp and crush living human prey. Plants with thorns or needles harden to the point of being able to cause serious bodily injury and, in some cases, become coated in substances that are highly toxic to human physiology. Plants that are generally used as human food sources become hardened or otherwise change composition to be inedible, indigestible, or otherwise dangerous for human consumption. Animals normally considered docile prey animals become increasingly strong and aggressive and will attempt to harm human subjects with no regard for personal safety. Animals that are natural predators will prioritize human targets as prey, ignoring easier targets. Animals that are domesticated livestock undergo physiological changes that render their flesh impossible to digest or even lethally poisonous when consumed by humans. Basically, it sucks to be human. That's all I can read. Everything just goes against the humans, which, you know what, fair enough. Animals that are household pets become feral and hostile to human handlers, oftentimes increasing in size and strength sufficient to cause bodily harm. Just gonna do some. SCP-1100 has become increasingly dangerous to contain, and its effects have increased in magnitude since its initial containment in 1989. No conclusive sources has yet been determined for SCP-1100, nor is it known how or why it specifically targets human subjects. Current speculation points to a radical environmentalist group with access to Foundation-grade resources and technology. As such, worldwide Foundation assets have been directed to monitor radical environmentalist groups for possible evidence that may lead us to the discovery of SCP-1100's manufacturer. So they think it has been created. They think that it has been made by humans specifically. It could be. It's maybe something like, hey, how can we prevent all these people destroying our world? Well, how about you make the world even more dangerous and uninhabitable for humans? Oh, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Wait a minute. We're humans too. Wouldn't we suffer from this? Come on. All experimentation on SCP-1100 has been altered due to the extreme danger in SCP-1100's continual adaptation. Okay, archive description amended, revised. Okay, 1990. Oh boy. SCP-1100 is a complex organic substance that causes anomalous transformation in natural plant life. Despite being composed primarily of heavy proteins and redacted, SCP-1100 is easily transmitted between plants via pollen, seeds, and other airborne elements and can spontaneously vaporize into aerosol form. That sounds like a problem. When affected by SCP-1100, plants will will undergo a series of transformation related to its natural physical attributes over approximately 48 hours. Plants with bulbous section or large fruit undergo. Yep, that's yeah, it looks like basically there seems to be just some addition. Tendrils, yes, that's the same. Plants with thorns, yes, that's the same. Plants with, okay, so basically these 4 have been added over the time. SB has 1100 has become increasingly dangerous to contain. Yep. Current speculation. Additional funding for the SCP for the study and research has been approved by O5 Command. Okay, more funding has to be done into it. Of course, it is a key to level. Well, I assume they thought it was Euclid at that point. I assume that's the point where they thought it was Euclid because it was just dangerous what they can do. But Addendum 17, incident report, loss of biocontainment site 26 on 2000. Redacted by O5 Command. Casualties reached 96% of site personnel by 647 hours. So 647 hours, which is 6 in the morning. Well, almost 7 in the morning. At 648 hours, BCS-26 on-site nuclear warhead was detonated, stopping the infection but resulting in the total loss of BKS-26 and all site personnel. Ooh, they had to use a nuke to get rid of this thing. Archive description. Oh, this was probably when it was still like considered safe. Yeah, it looks like. Well, I mean, it still says increasingly dangerous to human life, but okay, here we go. Look at this. This description is different. The effects of SCP-1100 include, but are not limited to, alteration to appearance of edible plants that renders them repulsive to human observers. Repulsive, not dangerous or inedible. Repulsive, because here it was with caustic substances. Yeah, and here it was with explosive. Yeah. So before it was just disgusting, disgusting. But now. Yeah, now it's a bigger problem. The growth of hardened thorns and toughened structures in edible plants, rendering them inedible or indigestible to humans. So again, it seems to be mostly just, oh yeah, you can't really eat them. The internal manufacture of substances that cause nausea, pain, or severe internal injury to humans. So before it was just like, oh yeah, minor problems. It can still cause injuries. I mean, severe injuries, yes, it can do that, but it's not like explosive or caustic fruits. So that's definitely a bit of a leap. SCP-1100 was first encountered following the 1989 Exxon Valdez oil spill contaminating plants near human settlements near the affected region. Oh yeah, Gaia's blood. Yeah, you're spilling oil on Gaia, and Gaia's like, you know what? You guys had a bit too nice. You had a bit too nice on my backside, my front, my thigh. So how about we're gonna shake up a little bit. We're gonna do a bit of the conga and see how it goes. It is currently unknown how SCP-1100 is able to specifically target humans with these adaptations, nor is it known what organization is responsible for the manufacture of SCP-1100. Research and additional funding have been allocated to investigate the source of SCP-1100. Addendum 8. Incident report, loss of biocontainment Site-33. During routine experimentation, a large amount of SCP-1100 spontaneously evaporated and infected the entire plant crop grown at biocontainment Site-33. The subsequent incident resulted in the complete loss of BCS-33 and casualties among 70% of site personnel before the breach was contained. BCS-33 has been decommissioned and all remaining samples of SCP-1100 have been moved to biocontainment site 26. And now we have classified level 4 by order of O5 Command. Eyes only. Let's see what we have here. A lot of blanks I can see. Addendum 23. Incident log, addendum, loss of biocontainment site 26. From fragments of damaged surveillance video recovered from the remains of biocontainment site 26, it has been determined that the incident resulting in the total loss of, so that's biocontainment site 26, gotcha, was instigated by doctors, and the video evidence shows that on the 2000 at 631L. What does L mean? That's not hour. Okay, Doctor disarmed and shot the armed guard posted at SCP-110 containment, after which Doctor proceeded to breach containment and remove the sample. Access logs recovered from the BCS-26 environment system and reported a breach in the primary service hub at 637L, at which point SCP-1100 was presumably introduced into the entire air and water supply. By the way, I'm going to check if my voice is even on, because I might have made a mistake anyway. By the way, I'm going to check if my voice is even on, because I might have made a mistake. Yeah, it's on. The music is a bit loud, so... There. But everything works. That's beautiful. Okay, L. Where was the L? After which Doctor proceeded to... Yeah, at which point was presumably introduced into the entire set and what it was supply. Wait a minute, let me just put this back to here, and then this, lower this a bit more. There we go. That should do it, right? That should be okay. I don't know. The funny thing is, in the VOD, nobody's gonna know if it was okay or not. Investigation has returned up evidence of environmentalists organizing membership for both Doctor and Doctor. All personnel at site are being screened immediately as well. Addendum 24. Diary entry recovered from the home of Doctor 2000. Got a chance to talk with again today. He agrees with me now that there is no other explanation that fits. When you have eliminated all impossibilities, then whatever is left has to be the truth, no matter how insane it is. SCP-1100 isn't an engineered substance. It's some bunch of hippies getting their sick revenge on civilization. It's a planetary immune response. It's Gaia, Mother Earth fighting back against us. The more we try to fight it, the worse it gets. She wants us all dead. Yeah, fair enough. Wants us gone because of what we've done to her, and there's nothing we can do to stop it. The only thing we can do is to take responsibility for our sins and accept our punishment. Tomorrow, we're initiating the plan. Okay, that's a good start. Good start with the SCP Foundation to read. Gaia has enough of your bullshit. Mother Earth is just like, hey, can you not? Like, honestly, I'm over here just floating in space, and you just decide to just come along and ruin me. An interesting topic, yeah. I mean, to be honest, that SCP we had before is an interesting topic in itself, anyway. So, but maybe this is an SCP that is actually not an existing topic. As in, like, there is no theme, there is no point, there is nothing. But the moment, it's kind of like the game. The moment you think about it, everybody suddenly thinks about it, and you lose. By the way, you're all lost now. I don't make the rules. So yeah, that's my theory, that this is a thing that, like, the moment you think about it, you just can't stop thinking about it, even though it has no meaning whatsoever. Save. Euclid. Similar rating as the previous one, if not even the same. Nope. The same numbers, but the numbers are shuffled around. Okay. Euclid. SCP-1101 is contained in a 20 × 20 cm secure room at site. The containment room is monitored and recorded from a separate section by CCTV at all times. However, under no circumstances should this be viewed while an SCP-1101 event is in progress. So there's an event, which I assume is the event that everybody starts thinking about it and they can't stop thinking about it. The monitoring devices detect activity in SCP-1101's containment room. An alarm is to sound, and both the containment room and the CCTV station are to be sealed until activity has ceased. So even if you look at it through a camera, you can get infected by whatever event this is. All individuals under the influence of I was unsure if Henry was there or not. All individuals under the influence of an SCP-1101 event are to be quarantined by security staff wearing hearing protection. No more than 20 individuals are to be introduced to SCP-1101 without O5 level approval. No objects are to be placed atop SCP-1101 except under controlled testing circumstances. Following Incident 4, bathroom facilities and 1 month of supplies for up to 20 people have been placed in SCP-1101's containment room. Okay. In case you have to quarantine them. I was like, why is there so many bathroom facilities and 1 month of supplies in there? But of course, in case you get quarantined, you have to stay. It's simple and clean. Well, I hope it's simple and clean. At least I hope the bathrooms are. Apparatus for the dispensing of VX nerve gas has been installed to be activated in the event of a major emergency, specifically any of the following: 50 individuals under the influence of an SCP-1101 event, risk of uncontrolled spread of an SCP-1101 event beyond the containment facility. I see somebody joined. Welcome to the Fluff. I'm sorry that the moment you are here that I have to ask you, but can you tell me if my voice and the music volume are in a good balance? Because I have no idea. I did check before and I changed a little bit, but looks like the person left. Oh, that's a shame. SCP-1101 event of duration greater than 1 month. If this protocol in conjunction with standard quarantine measures fails to contain, the emergency personnel should refer to plan moderated for with data expunged. Description. SCP-1101 is a 0.6 meter tall marble pedestal with an octagonal top. Okay. It exhibits no unusual properties until an object is placed atop SCP-1101 in the presence of more than one person. In this situation, any comment made relating to the object by an individual present will start a heated discussion. An SCP-1101 event. Me. Oh. You know what? I'm gonna ask somebody to check for me. Yo, Meta, can you do an audio check on my stream? In this situation, any comment relating to the object by an individual person will start a heated discussion at an SCP-101 event. During an SCP-1101 event, affected individuals are compelled to continue the discussion until broad agreement is reached with one individual, the winner. The winner will take the object atop SCP-1101, which signals the end of an event. If the affected individuals do not come to an agreement, a winner will be selected after a certain length of time and end the event. In this case, the winner has usually made a more intelligent or factually correct argument. But there appears to be a subjectivity involved, perhaps suggesting sapience on SCP-1101's part. This reminds me of the other SCP where you sit down with two spirits and they start an argument, and you have to argue with them, but in such a way that they don't change their mind on what they're arguing, because if they do, whatever mindset they have will transform reality. So if they say something like sugar, like salt is an unnecessary mineral, and then you fail to argue against that, and they both agree on it, or like at least, I think it has to be both agreeing, or maybe only one agrees on it, then salt will not longer exist anymore because one of them thinks it's unnecessary. So yeah, you have to argue like that's. I feel like that's kind of like this deal, but in this case, it's a little less, world reality bending. In this case, the winner has usually made a more intelligent or factually correct argument, but there be subjectively involved, perhaps suggesting sapience on SCP-1101's part. Memories of the event are retained. Subsequently, the winner experiences feelings of euphoria and an attachment to the object 1, while the rest of the affected subjects suffer mild depressed mood. Okay, well, that's a shame. These effects are transient and dissipate after a maximum of 1 week. 1 week of just being depressed that you lost an argument. Sounds kind of like you're on Twitter, my friend. It sounds pretty much like you're on Twitter. You lose an argument, you just bummed out for the rest of the day. Individuals will join an event regardless of debating skill. Individual will join an event regardless of debating skills, educational level, or an interest in the event topic. It is Twitter. It is Twitter. You can't tell me that's not Twitter. SCP-1101 does not appear to cause major personality changes save the compulsion to discuss. However, events have the potential to become vitriolic regardless of individuals' personalities. Interestingly, no incidents of physical violence have been recorded during an event despite frequent displays of extreme anger. Let me ask Alex. Hey Alex, a favor please. Can you Okay, this should help me. Affected individuals will only attend to basic needs if it is possible to simultaneously participate in the event. Subjects may collapse from exhaustion if an event is of sufficient duration, but appears to suffer no longer-term ill effects. The event is a memetic hazard. All individuals who hear an event in progress or see SCP-1101 at a time are compelled to join, including individuals viewing the event remotely. Can you get a link? I'm pretty sure. Fuck. I'm on the rise. Okay. The event is a memetic hazard. All individuals who hear an event in progress or see SCP-1101 at a time are compelled to join, including individuals viewing the event remotely. So that's why you have to like leave the CCTV room, because you suddenly start shouting for the microphone. No, that's not what it is. The latter are capable of starting separate secondary instances of SCP-1101 events, which will gravitate towards the location of SCP-1101. Also, they like start arguing, and then like can cause more and more arguments throughout the whole facility. That's why you have to quarantine. That makes sense. Duration of events is variable and dependent on the specific arguments and positions taken by the individuals involved. SCP-1101 events have been observed ranging from 3 minutes to up to 5 minutes in this particular case. The event only ceased due to interruption of food supplies and subsequent starvation of individuals involved. You are so willing to win the argument, you will go through starvation. You're literally sitting there being like, fuck food, we're not done talking yet. Further information. Oh, everything seems synced on my side. Is the music really loud? Because I want it to be kind of like background. Like, you know, it's not the same level, it's just like below my level, but it's not like hard to hear it. Because before I had it accidentally like on the same level, I didn't realize. And also, if I press this button here, which is the beep button, is that loud or quiet? Okay. Further information on SCP-1101 may be found in Redacted. Initial baseline testing and option was placed upon SCP-1101 and test subject instructed to enter the containment chamber. So here we have the testing battery. What? An option. Oh, okay. So with the battery, I see. Every day, please love life and get inside of your heart. Nothing. Test subject 5D class personnel, D1 through 5. Additional instructions, none. Result: subject made normal conversation for 5 minutes. Test ended. Option. So this is test 1B. Object 1 rectangular pine wood block. 5D class personnel D125. In addition to Dr. Major unplanned inclusion. Like, did he just walk in? Just like, probably because like he was looking at the CCTV and was like during politics discussion. Okay. D1101 asked to describe object. It's a wooden block. I think they want you to say what sort of wood. The last thing I was assigned to, they kept making me put these balsa sheets into some machine. Balsa doesn't come in blocks. It's something else. He didn't say it was balsa. It's probably some kind of oak wood.
It's a pine wood block.
Why is he telling us? Maybe it's a trick. Other subject voice agreement.
You idiots! I know what it is.
Redacted. Seems okay. If anything, the music was slightly low. It's probably equal to your voice at the moment. Equal to my voice at the moment. It shouldn't be though. Okay. Okay. Let me just. Okay. Okay. How about now? At the stage, full properties of SCP-1101 were unknown. Dr. Major was observing remotely and was therefore affected by the event. Test subject proceeded to argue for 6 minutes about both the composition of the block. Okay, thank you, Alex. Appreciate you. And the trustworthiness of Dr. Major. After 6 minutes, they were convinced by Dr. Major of the block composition, and he left the observation room to collect the block, winning and ending the event. Live observation of SCP-1101 was subsequently discontinued. Rectangular pine wood block. We dare to make this love. 5D class personnel 1 through 5. D1101 asked to give an opinion about the object. It's this damn block. I don't really care about this. It doesn't do anything. I guess you could say use it as a door stopper. Who the hell would want that?
I might. It could be a paperweight.
No, it's too big. It would be better as a door stopper. Are you serious? It's just a expletive block. Redacted. So the subjects argued about possible use of the block for 13 minutes. Agreement was reached that the block was not designed for function but could have some useful characteristics. D2 was the winner and ended the event. Ha! T2 said paperweight, so it's my paperweight now. Experiment D1. 1D, excuse me. My lip is acting up and I hear it. There we go. 1 Panasonic portable DVD player not powered. 5D class personnel 1 to 5. Yeah. No instructions. It'd be good if they gave us movies here once in a while. Yeah, I haven't seen anything since I got in. Nothing newer than... Wait, what was that gift this one? Are you kidding? I love those. It went downhill after the first one. Now you have to be kidding, redacted. Subject argued about the merits of the film series for 49 minutes. No agreement was reached. D3, well, with the opinion that the second film was the underrated gem of the series, took the DVD player, winning and ending the event. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, one political... test E1. One political campaign button reading redacted 2012. 5D class personnel 1 to 5. Data expunged. And casualties before containment was re-established. Security measures for SCP-1101's use with controversial items have been heightened. And the last test, 1F. Test designed to determine effects of SCP-1101 on individuals with a prior interest in the event topic and enthusiasm for debate. One postcard depicting Claude Monet's Water Lilies, 1907. Dr. A and Dr. P, both with an amateur interest in art collecting. Dr. A asked to comment on the object. Okay. The real thing is much nicer. I don't know. I prefer his portrait myself, though I think Renoir does them better. Renoir? Have you been to the Musée d'Orsay? Redacted. That's absolute trash. You think my tastes are trash? You probably thought Manet and Monet were twin brothers. You're saying this when you haven't even been outside of... You pretentious little expletives. My mother was what? Redacted. Subject argued for 82 minutes before Dr. P said, I can't argue with you anymore. Dr. A took the postcard and ended with the event. Dr. A and Dr. P have subsequently been hostile to one another. In the absence of staff who are able to act like adults, I recommend the testing of SCP-1101 between coworkers be avoided. Dr. Okay, and Addendum 1. It has been observed that the duration of an SCP-1101 event generally scales with the number of individuals involved. Due to the potential for mimetic spread of an event, it is estimated that a breach of containment would lead to a point of no return, where event duration is unacceptably high after a critical mass of redacted persons, leading to a perpetual SCP-1101 event and a potential AK class end of the world scenario. In light of this theory, SCP-1101 has been upgraded to Euclid class and new containment procedures implemented. To the top. Okay. We had Twitter the SCP. Now we have the Blue Ridge phenomenon. Oh god. What's a ridge again? I have to look up ridge. Meaning. A long, narrow hilltop mountain range or watershed. Okay, yeah, that's correct. That's correct. So Blue Ridge phenomenon. Could it be it's blue because of it's like naturally, as in SCP naturally blue, like it's not supposed to be blue, but it just is? Or is it called blue because there's water in the ridge? And it's reflecting it, so it looks blue. Like it's reflecting the sky to make it look nice and blue. Euclid. Okay, so we had a Keter, we had a Euclid. Well, safe, then Euclid, and now we have just a Euclid. SCP-1102. And after this one, I think I have to get something to drink because like the food I ate plus the milkshake I drank is making me super thirsty. Like I am just dying for water. Okay, SCP-1102 is confined to an already settled landscape, giving it CU Caldera designation as a highly sensitive, widespread phenomenon. As per these regulations, civilian awareness of an overarching effect is monitored by local agents, as specific outbreaks are to be suppressed as per standard procedures based on the number of witnesses and exposure. Additionally, as per the Caldera Protocol's Foundation, socialists are to aid in the cultivation and segregation of civilian awareness by creating different methodologies of the aspect of SCP-1102's manifestation. Over of these are in circulation and are believed to aid in preventing a holistic view of the phenomenon in question from forming. Active specimens on manifestation will disappear shortly and are not to be restrained from entering highly populated areas and roadways when possible. Active specimens are not known to be dangerous to humans. Active specimens or manifestations will disappear. You sound like the physical manifestation of Luther's inner demon. I'm sorry, I had that in my head today. Will disappear shortly. That sounded out of nowhere. And shortly and are to be restrained from entering highly populated areas and roadways when possible. Active specimens are not known to be dangerous to humans. Research is currently suspended, but it is scheduled to restart on. SCP-1102 is a phenomenon localized in the Blue Ridge Mountain Range in the eastern USA. Though evidence suggests it may also include an area as far south as mid-Georgia and Alabama. For a complete map of SCP-1102 related incidents from which the current location has been defined, contact Doctor or any Level 4 personnel. The exact cause of the effects is unknown, as no external factor has affected any facets of SCP-1102. This is therefore assumed to be related to data expunged. The effect occurs only at night, during periods of rain or snow, and targets decrease bodies within a small randomly selected area. That's not good. Lock on target. For each reasonable intact corpse in the area, an animated likeness of the original organism will appear. Excuse me? Are you trying to tell me you have this thing that just decides to clone things when it rains? Imagine how creepy that is. Imagine. Does it also mean like... Wait, hold on, let me read that again. And so targets bodies, intact corpse in the area, and animated likeness. Oh my god. I don't know, but like it says, with minor differences, including in humans, changes darkening or lightening skin tone deformities. See Doc 1102, 114A. Alteration or lack of facial features or small appendages, fingers, toes, genitalia, and I'm sorry I'm reading all this off. But imagine that. Imagine that. You're just walking at nighttime, and you see a deer that has been like just got shot, but like for some reason the hunters didn't pick up. Maybe it was like a bullet, a stray bullet that hit, and the hunters never found the deer, you know, or the deer escaped and is dying from blood loss, something like that. And it's nighttime, and you just like look at this deer and you're like, oh man. And you see it's already been dead, like it's died from blood loss, and then it starts to rain. And you're like, well, I guess the wolves and bears will take care of you. And then the moment you look at it, it's just a clone of it just pops out of nowhere, or out of it, or next to it, and then just runs away. But it looks like a darker version of it. If that happened to me, I would just be like, Did anybody else see that? I can't be alone in this. There's no way I'm alone in this. You know what I mean? Also, by the way, let me actually change that real quick because I keep forgetting to change it. This is a bit too close. There we go. I know that it would have been funny to have that close, but it's a bit much. And then like that, yeah. Much nicer. Much nicer to look at, you know. Oh, it's Serendipity. I didn't even realize. Oh, it's my favorite one. My favorite song from this person. I keep forgetting his name, it's my fault. Clothing and body modification or piercings provided are intact or generally retained. It is unknown if the resulting entities are the same as the original creature or a completely new organisms. I put my hand. I bet on new organism. There's some bad voodoo, some bad hooshu voodoo. I don't think it's the same person. The dominant urge in all subjects, human or otherwise, seem to be one of the returning or withdrawing other members of the original species. That's kind of weird. Imagine as a human, you're like, I have to go back to other humans. Imagine you were a hermit in the forest, but then suddenly you're like, I have to go back to the past. subjects instinctively know where the nearest group is, and the larger the group, the more likely the subject is to attempt to integrate with them. I don't like this. It almost sounds like, you know what that sounds like? It reminds me of the end of Cabin Fever 1, where all of the people, all the friends died because of this fever, right? But one guy survived, and he found the cop that promised to like save them and help them out, but he was like partying with some other college kids. And instead of like walking away and preventing from like the disease from spreading, he just started like walking close and just barf on everybody, making sure they get infected. That's what this reminds me of. One historical sightings, for instance, describes seeing a faceless hound, ghostly white, running in the company of other wild hounds, though not braying or making a sound, as its mouth was sealed shut. No. You don't do that. You just don't. You just don't. That's something you don't do, bro. That is messed up. Why? I'm gonna have that in my dreams now, aren't I? Shit. That's a nightmare creature. Yeah, it did say deformities as well, so it doesn't like it's not only the skin tone difference, it's also like Tell me. Touch me. Don't do that. Dog, don't do that. At rare intervals, however, the effect occurs at extreme magnitudes that may encompass many square kilometers. Further depiction can be accessed in document 1102A4 for procedure 1102-Eve, Resurrection Woods. Yeah, that's a fitting name. I would have called it Frankenstein Woods. Just for the fact that, like, you know, it brings back life of a corpse in a different way, and deformities, because like Frankenstein was known to, like, you know, it's a corpse that lives again, and but it's not like clearly not fully human. Like there's something really off about him. I mean, okay, to be fair, in the original Mary Shelley book, Frankenstein was also like 2 meters tall, which is something in the 1800s was like not known. A 2 meters fucking colossus with long ass arms and legs and like skin that's clearly like not like pale or greenish and well, not green, that's a movie, but like it's just disgusting and all that stuff. Yeah. So Resurrection Woods. For context, foundation folklorists, historians, and retrieval teams estimate this particular event has occurred 3 times in the past century. All entities completely vanish at some point in the same night that their appearance occurs, usually shortly before sunrise. They leave no discernible physical evidence of their presence, apart from footprints, damaged vegetation, and so on. Given the entity's rare occurrence and transient nature, limited information is available about them, or the effect and research is still pending. You know what this reminds me of as well? Story-wise, it's not the same, but I'm reading reading a manga right now. It's called. I haven't caught up with it in a while, because I caught up with it fully, and then there was nothing left for a while, and I'm pretty sure there's only one new chapter out by now. But it's called Jinmen, and I just like, I don't know. Reminds me of all this stuff. It's just like, I know, like in this case, like, you know, the animals have human faces and all that stuff, and they can talk and all that, and it's just creepy as shit. But that's like, I know in this case it's just deformities, but for some reason that, like, the fact that there's a forest where deformed animals walk around reminds me of Jinmen, because it's a whole zoo of deformed animals, and then later on I think they infect other animals too. So like, yeah, Yeah. All entities completely vanish at some point the same night that their appearance occurs, usually shortly before sunrise. They leave no discernible physical evidence of their presence, apart from footprints, damaged vegetation, and so on. Given the entity's rare occurrence and transient nature, limited information is available about them or the effect, and research is still pending. In 2006, 100 Foundation operators were stationed at graveyards in the Blue Ridge area for 4 months, in hopes of seeing the phenomenon manifest. At the end, one successful specimen was restrained, and the following observation were made of, yeah, here comes the experiments! Entities are corporeal and have mass. Okay, so they weigh something, and you can touch them. Entities do not react to extraneous sounds or noise, even when they may indicate the presence of most of the host species. For instance, when a recording of a large chorus was played for one entity, it still moved towards the two operators present who were the largest nearby human presence. So it can tell if one is just sound or if one are actual beings in the place. Entities can die and have human anatomies without significant alteration or additions. Brain and nervous activity, however, are sporadic and do not seem to correspond to typical anatomy. Entities resemble the corresponding original corpse, though often differing in many ways. The entity in some ways continue to be linked to the original corpse. When the entity vanishes, the original corpse will also vanish at approximately the same time. The ultimate destination of either entity is unknown, as is how they disappear. Entities have believed to be neither conscious, sapient, nor possessing of complex intelligence. Yeah, they just want to be with you, man. They got friends on the other side, bro. Auxiliary File 1. Because of its unpredictable and sparse nature, the phenomenon has been studied from local stories and accounts that seem to describe it. Several folklorists are opponents for the responsibility of distinguishing possibly real accounts from fictional mythology. Yeah, I wonder if a lot of if this is the SCP Foundation's way to explain how animals like Griffin exists. This weird lion creature, but for some reason looks like it has wings and a beak, maybe because of the formation of its body that looks like that. From these results, the effects have been described as far back as accurate stories go, including the journals of at least 3 separate isolated farmers in the area, who devoted time to observing the phenomenon when it occurred. For instance, one incident reported in a local newspaper occurred in 1978, before the Foundation had completed its current containment procedures of the effect. A 17-year-old male was killed by an unknown individual and apparently buried in a shallow grave near his former high school on the same night as the school's prom celebration. Oh, that means he's gonna come back for that prom date. 5 months later, the individual was reanimated, undergoing mutation typical of SCP-1102 on the night of the students' fundraiser and showing typical signs of attraction to human presence, and the school through an unlocked door. Well, that definitely traumatized a bunch of young teenagers, old teenagers, young adults. Police were alerted, but due to a numerous interference, several hours passed before they arrived, by which point the high school was in a lockdown and complete panic. Most of those present self-evacuated, with the exception of several students who became trapped in a locked kitchen area, and an 18-year-old female who had been in a relationship with the affected individual and was observed in the corner of common area screaming, "Big Joe! Big Joe! It's me! See, it's me! You came back for us, Big Joe!" Okay. In 1978, huh? Okay. The teenager correct identification of Joseph, despite significant alteration, is of interest, and it is hoped more description of this phenomenon will be uncovered in further accounts. So even though he looks way different, she can still tell it was him. Interesting. So maybe that's a side effect of the SCP, that not only does this creature want to go back to a group of people or a group of animals, and it can sense where it is, or instinctually know where they are. It looks like people who knew the original person. I wonder if it's if you have to have a deep connection with that person because he had a relationship with him. If friends and families and lovers work, or if also just people that just knew the person can tell this. Auxiliary personal report by Dr. Blue Ridge is big, lonely, mysterious. It's actually trees that make it blue, and at sunset, night settles down like nothing else in the world, meaning it's possible the best place east of the Mississippi for us to find this. Nonetheless, people spread out, and we're making more and more calls for incident in Great Smoky. Plus, we still haven't found a good way to take the SCP out of Blue Ridge, and then maybe put it somewhere else, like a big box with a lock. The only theory we got is this. I was slamming back beers with a while ago, and he said the only way we could do it at all was to contain the whole range. He's right. You can't take the effect out of the landscape. It's something in the mountains, about the mountains, that makes all the dead come back, faceless and insane. I don't know what it wants. Make us all go away, be merciful to them, fuck with us. As helpful as it might be, I hope it never figures it out. This one was good. I like this concept a lot. I really like this concept, gotta say. Okay, I'll be right back, because, as I said, thirsty motherfucker over here. So, see you guys in a couple seconds. I'm back. Oh boy. Excuse me. Sparkling water. It does things to me. Oh yeah. Okay, there we go. Let's go on. Dr. Wondertainment Young Surgeon's Transplant Kit. So, we know that Dr. Wondertainment's stuff is usually either A, the extreme of something, like it takes like the normal idea and makes it really extreme, or it works in a way that like you would never think about. Like the nuke that they created, where it looks like a nuke, but it's just like, well, like the explosion looks like a nuke, but it's just this tiny rocket. And it's still, I believe it still causes radiation. So a surgeon transplant kit, I think it will literally actually do surgery. Like, it's like made out of plastic, but the moment you stab somebody, it literally just like opens up, and you can just open up the body and just take any organ out without causing any damage to the person. But of course, they're like wide awake watching like, as you like just do that. And you're like, they don't feel pain, but they're just watching as your body just gets disassembled. This is the highest rated one so far, and it's safe. Outside of scheduled experiments, instances of SCP-1103 are to be stored in a standard large volume storage refrigerated in Biocontainment Unit 23 at a temperature below 5 degrees Celsius. Due to limited supply, experiment proposals must be approved by at least 2 personnel with 2 1103 clearance. SCP-1103 refers to a set of commercially packed human body parts labeled SCP-1103-1-1 to SCP-1103-1-11. So 1 till 11. Dash 1 to 11. All contained objects are vacuum packed on plastic trays with the label Dr. Wondertainment's Young Surgeon Transplant Kit. The price tag ranging between $3.99 and $25.99. Several of the packs have an additional sticker showing a stylized bull's head and the words Corn Belt written across its front. Additional content of each package reused. However, all packages contain an instruction leaflet, see Addendum 1, a set of single-use plastic gloves and a tube labeled Dr. Entertainment's tube of Wonder Loop. That's -2. Okay, so we have a -2 as well. The tube has a break-off end and contains approximately 5 ccm of a translucent, viscous yellow-green liquid of composition resembling blood plasma. No, it sounds good, to be honest. Even though it's safe. Analysis has shown the tissues to be unusually durable. A sample was able to survive up to 3 hours exposed to room temperature air. When vacuum packed or submerged in physiologic solution and then cooled to below 5 degrees Celsius, a sample can be stored practically indefinitely. DNA analysis has shown the samples come from the distinct individuals of varied race and gender, despite their uniform appearance. The only common trait among them appears to be blood type of O and negative rhesus factor. Applying -2 to human or animal. I'm going to just skip this one. Oh yeah, the touch. Applying as -2 to human or animal tissues result in temporary loosening of intercellular bonds of a layer approximately 1 millimeter thick, accompanied by mild fluorescence of durations circa 5 minutes after reaching the surface regains its previous structure. In the case of skin application, the outermost epidermis layer does not reconstitute. If another tissue sample is brought into contact with the loose cell layer during this period, the surface fuse together. Over the following 6 to 14 hours, the interface between the two develops a function blood vessel network. Neural connection were initial thought not to develop. Subsequent experiments have shown this process to take an average of 3 weeks. Okay. Only one case of tissue rejection has been recorded during testing, despite foreign origin of tissue. Experiment logs available upon request to all personnel with at least one -1103 clearance. SCP-1103 came into attention of the Foundation on 10th, 2000 after an incident at the National Hospital in Illinois when 11-year-old J.W. was hospitalized with hands apparently fused to his face. Oh, yeah. There you go. Interviewing the subject has revealed he has purchased a joke surgery kit classified -1-1 at a local joke shop and attempted to use it to graft an additional finger to each of his hands. Well, look what that led to you. Look what that happened now, huh? You tried to get more power by being the only human with both hands having 6 fingers, and now look at you. Now you look like Kevin from Home Alone. Except that you can't take away your hands at all. Subject home was searched, resulting in the procurement of an instance of SCP-1103 and a shop bill from confirming the interview data. Investigation of the shop has resulted in seizing additional instances of SCP-1103. However, the owner has been proven to lack any knowledge of SCP-1103's anomalous effects. Investigation into the origin of the anomalous shipment is ongoing. All involved were treated with Class A amnestics, and evidence linking J.W. disfigurement to a gas leak explosion was fabricated. Is that really a thing you can say? Would people really believe that? Addendum 1. Oh man. Why am I so thirsty? I mean, okay. The chicken was spicy, and I did put a lot of salt on the fries. So, and like I said, milkshake doesn't really sate you. It's delicious, but doesn't sate you. Instruction leaflet for -1-1. Hello, you have successfully purchased Funny Finger Transplant, a part of Dr. Entertainment's Young Surgeon Transplant Kit, and are on your way to become a young surgeon. What do you need to be a young surgeon, you ask? Step 1. Find a friend who needs a finger. Step 2. Open the funny finger transplant package without hesitation. Step 3. Like a real surgeon, put on Dr. Wanda Timmons' gummy gloves. Make sure they are a good fit. Step 4. Break open the cap of Dr. Wanda Timmons' tube of Wonder Loop. Don't worry, it won't go off if you keep it cool. Step 5. Spread a little Wonder Loop on the place that belongs to a new digit. Step 6. Just like traffic lights, wait until you see green light. Step 7. Take a funny finger and put it where it should go. Make sure you have to put it right away on, or everyone will laugh. Step 8. Hold it in place for about 5 seconds. Hoorah! The operation has succeeded, young surgeon. When not being a young surgeon, be sure to keep your Dr. Wanda Timmons young surgeon transplant kit cool. Do not touch the Wonder Loop with bare hands. Be careful in pulling down the gummy gloves. Be precise like a real surgeon. Once the funny thing is in place, you won't be able to get it off that easily. If you enjoy being a young surgeon, consider buying Dr. Wanda Timmons' Young Surgeon's Human Construction Set. Warning, may contain traces of nuts. What kind of nuts we talking about here, dude? So this kid right here was being a fucking greedy little shithead. Instead of looking for somebody who's missing a finger, he's like, no, I'll add a finger to myself. Whoa. You done this to yourself, bro. You're an idiot. Nose crab. I don't know why. The first thing I imagine is like the grab pincers, but the body is just a nose just pointing upwards like this and just going around. that's what I imagined it was. I might be wrong. Keto, what? Come on, you can't give an SCP that's named Nose Crab Keto level. Come on, man, it's too funny to. Well, who knows? Maybe the crab just steals noses, which was the origin of Voldemort. He was at the beach one day. Here's what happened with Voldemort. Here's what happened. He was at the beach, and he was enjoying himself. You know, some nice tanning. He was just like, oh yes, oh beautiful. The sand, the ocean waves, a nice wind, not too cold, just enough to cool me down from the sun. That's nice. And then the crab's just like, and he's like, and he just looks over, he's like, oh my, look at this crab right here. Ain't that a cute guy? And the crab's just like, and he's like, what? It's, and the crab's just like, and then just dashes away. He's like, my nose! The crab stole my nose! And that's why I became Voldemort. Complete destruction of SCP-1104 is endorsed. Oh, they want to kill those nose crabs. Should adequate means be developed. While individual instances of SCP-1104 are easily terminated, SCP-1104 is endemic to subsurface geological formation in northwestern, rendering the surmised primary population of SCP-1104 inaccessible to convenient lethal agents. The surrounding area 10 km in diameter has been designated Site-104 and condoned from the public on the guise of endangered species preservation. Personnel must wear N100 air filtration masks while within Site-104. Mammalian organisms exceeding 10 kilograms other than authorized Foundation personnel entering Site-104 should be assumed contaminated, and incineration at facilities on site. Oh wait, so contaminated. So something about them becomes weird. It's not like a crab going around stealing noses, or a crab that looks like a nose. SCP-1104 is a species tentatively identified as a member of order Shelicerata. The life cycle of... Okay, wait. We gotta look that shit up. Oh. Okay, hold on. Let me see what the Shelicerata description is. Oh, the major subdivision of the phylum arthropoda. It consists of sea spider, so you couldn't just give me like a really easy explanation. No, of course not. The moment you end up in anything that has to do with Latin, from New Latin, yeah. Instead of giving you an easy explanation, it's just going to go on being scientific. The last cycle of SCP-1104 comprises at least 2 distinct phases. The first being a larval stage, approximately 0.4 millimeters in diameter, at irregular intervals. Larval SCP-1104 are expelled from larval tubes with inside 104 concentration up to 200 individuals per cubic meter. These remains airborne for as long as 14 hours and have been documented to travel at least kilometer under favorable weather conditions. I just realized I didn't record anything today. Damn. Okay. When inhaled, larva will adhere to nasal mucosa, where they excrete an array of H1 receptor antagonists that suppress both local inflammation and implantation of further larvae. Over a period of 6 to 8 months, SCP-1104 will grow and extend appendages through the host's ethmoidal canals. Hosts generally remain unaware of the presence of SCP-1104 apart from the persistent but non-specific headaches. Yeah, I mean, there's something growing inside you, dude. I mean, differently than usually inside you, like as in like with women and babies, but like here inside, yeah. On maturation, SCP-1104 will begin applying pressure to the host's optic nerves, causing obstruction of the central visual field. Oh no. This pressure is applied selectively when the host is not oriented towards the local gradient of atmospheric hydrogen sulfide, which SCP-1104 can detect through the host's inhalation. Great, it literally uses on its nose to find out if it gets enough hydrogen sulfide. After the initial period of distress, the host will begin to prefer to face and travel in the directions where they do not experience visual disturbances, thus tracing the sources of hydrogen sulfide. Upon reaching a zone of sufficient hydrogen sulfide concentration, SCP-1104 projects appendages into the host's prefrontal cortex, causing unconsciousness, during which SCP-1104 exits the host via the ocular cavity. It's just out of the eye. After leaving a host, SCP-1104 will attempt to locate and enter the source of hydrogen sulfide, such as lava tube or sewer pipe. SCP-1104's subterranean life cycle has not been documented. Although humans display the same instinctual aversion as any animal to visual disturbances caused by SCP-1104, the behavioral response is not a compulsion, and hosts may defy the influence, especially if informed of the nature of SCP-1104. Note that subsequent hostility toward research personnel should be anticipated. Attempts at surgically removing or poisoning a fully developed SCP-1104 result in immediate elicitation of its exit response. Post-exit hosts exhibit complete spontaneity due to orbitofrontal lesions, and to date have provided no pertinent information in debriefing. God, yeah, okay, I can see why they're keto. That's less fun than crab stealing noses. That is a bit less fun than that. That's just mean. That's just brutal, dude. Neural polypore. What the fuck is a polypore?
What the fuck?
Oh. A group of fungi that form large fruiting bodies with pores or tubes on the underside. Ah. Okay, anybody with that trypophobia thing, look away now. Because I'm going to look at it more deeply. Okay. Damn. Okay. Anybody who looked away because of trypophobia, you can look back now. Oh, that's the lowest rating we have so far. Safe. SCP-1105 is to be kept in a sealed habitat within Containment Cell 445B at Bioresearch Area 12. Containment Cell 1332 at Site A size of roughly 2.8 square meters is to be maintained through provision of plant matter grown within a dedicated greenhouse. A temperature of 15.6 degrees Celsius at 5% humidity is to be maintained with an inbuilt climate control system. Air exiting the cell is to be passed through redundant filtration systems. Containment area is sealed from observation deck via double airlock. Doors are connected to an exterior locking system, allowing them to be sealed in case of emergency or containment breach. All windows, vents, seams, and doorways are to be lined with electromagnetic coils in continuous operation. Jam! Yeah, dooba, yeah. EM shielded CCTV cameras with dual battery backups will be mounted in each corner of the room to provide audiovisual monitoring. If SCP-1105 demonstrates signs of hostility or makes a concerted attempt to escape its enclosure, a scram switch installed in the primary observation area will activate multiple high-pressure jets of dicycyan acetylene to immediately destroy SCP-1105. Oh, Jesus, what's kind of... Woo! Backup samples of SCP-1105 spores are to be kept at Bioresearch Area 12. Description: SCP-1105 is a species of mobile fungus resembling Formitiporia ellipsoidea. It says mobile fungus. It can move. It jumps. It leaps. It dances. It's insufficiently large. The idea of a mushroom dancing. Damn. Insufficient. I mean, technically, if you think about it, the mushrooms in Super Mario Land kind of dance going. Insufficiently large concentrations, individual elements grow together into forms and structures beneficial to the world or the whole, though no centralized nervous systems can be detected that could be used to direct such growth. SCP-1105 appears to grow most readily upon dead plant matter and has been observed to become motile in an attempt to reach such matter. Though in the absence of viable plant material, the fungus can subsist in an inert state on ambient moisture alone. Once the fungus locates suitable plant matter, it will undergo a mitotic phase to form a number of filamental mycelia, eventually covering the plant matter and mechanically breaking it down prior to consuming it. Over a period of 24 to 48 hours, subsumed material is used to enlarge these strands, which become thickened and reinforced and develop a rubbery texture. As these characteristics manifest, the mycelia begin to vibrate and display evidence of electrical activity. I'm about to shock you. I'm about to. Analysis of samples taken from fungal growth at this stage indicates no viable means of producing or storing electrical charge. After sufficient fungal mass be accumulated, roughly 5 kilograms, the collective mass will dissociate into 4 to 6 smaller masses of approximately equal size, referred to as -1. These individuals' masses display independent motivations, though are apparently capable of assisting each other with tasks such as reaching additional plant matter for deconsumption. -1 instances have a tendency to alter morphology on a near constant basis to accommodate environmental factors on the task or the task in which they are currently engaged, such as developing a greater number of leg analogs while motile in search of food, or producing additional mandibles while consuming plant matter. Additionally, individuals as -1 have been observed to adopt forms resembling organisms in the order Trilobita or Rodentia. Other forms resembling the families Lepidoptera and Cheridae have been observed. Ich verstehe nur Bahnhof. That's a German saying for saying like, it's all French to me, basically, but only infrequently. These additional forms appear entirely spontaneously and do not appear to be triggered by a specific external condition. In English, goddammit! Addendum 1 Recovery. SCP-1105 was initially recovered by Foundation operatives in the Heilongjiang province of China on 1987, 12, 17. Following a significant seismic event in the area, numerous reports had surfaced of a forest monster in outlying rural areas based on description closely matching the one given in this document. 39 AMTF and News 7 agents were dispatched to investigate and report. Within 500 meters of the area where sightings had occurred, the operatives' SUVs were swarmed and subsequently electronically disabled by what the agents estimated as hundreds of instances of -1. The agents rapidly dismounted, drew the instances away from the transports, and engaged them with incendiary munitions, destroying the swarm. Yeah, that makes sense. Burn it. Don't let a single pollen live. After an hour-long search, they discovered an apparent point of origin beyond a path of stripped vegetation adjacent to a hillside. I imagine the Dark Souls mushroom people is just there like, did you fucking destroy our kids? It was later determined that the earlier seismic activity had created a fault in the bedrock, exposing a large cavern containing substantial SCP-1105 growth. It is assumed to have subsisted on ambient moisture mineral deposits. Following collection of specimen and core samples, the cavern was sterilized via dicyan or saline saturation detonation and subsequently collapsed and sealed with an ANVO. Addendum 2. Aquatics. While instances of -1 have displayed an ability to adapt and travel upon the surface of the body of water, they have been shown to be unable to thrive underwater. If forcibly submerged for an extended period of time, they will simply fall apart. Good. I'm melting. Good. And then 3. Senses. While it is apparent that animated -1 are unable to process that as a sensory medium, they seem to be able to sense movement by detecting air currents and electromagnetic fields generated by inanimate beings. -1 simply flee from these fields. As such, electromagnets have been incorporated into containment procedures. Okay. Some mean-ass mushrooms, eh? But I mean, could be worse. Could be worse. Grow your own child. Is this like grow your own grandpa? The horror game that Mark and Game Grumps played. Oh yeah. I just assume it's gonna be the same as grow your own grandpa. It's just a pot. You put a seed in it, and something like a child grows out of it, and it's not pleasant. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look like a child. It just looks like this deformed amalgamation of things. That is my theory. Oh, that's short. Safe. SCP-1106 is to be kept in a secure containment locker inside. All testing must be approved by level 3 staff or higher. All contained instances of SCP-1106 discovered must be immediately secured and brought into containment. Are there more people growing their own child out there? Are there a bunch of people who are like, listen, honey, I know it's sad that you are infertile, but I found this way how to create a child out of nothing. Okay? We don't have to. I know you don't want to adopt. I don't know you don't want to adopt. But I found this way. And if you don't want it, fine. But let's give it a shot. Give it a shot. And then, like, a couple months later, she's like, oh my god, he's so beautiful. You were right, honey. This was the best idea we ever had. SCP-11... oh, that was all the gas, all the carbonation. Is a cylindrical metal chamber composed of an unknown alloy determined to be roughly 96% iron. During its standby phase, SCP-1106 is inactive and its top cover will be open, granting access to the interior. However, the inside is consistently found to be empty during the standby period. If at any point a human tissue sample is placed inside the chamber, such as a buccal scraping or a sample of blood, saliva, or redacted, SCP-1106 will close and enter its locked phase. A bit of a microwave phase, it's just like, okay, now let me just or that's not a microwave, but more like a 3D printer. All attempts to open or otherwise access the interior of SCP-1106 during its locked phase have proven unsuccessful. Attempts to place cameras or other devices inside SCP-1106 to observe the inside during the locked phase have also failed. It appears that the item will not close and lock if there is any inorganic material inside the chamber. 3 months after the initiation of the locked phase, the chamber will reopen and produce a human infant, genetically identical to the sample donor. The products of SCP-1106, hereby referred to as -1, in the majority of all cases will develop normally and be indistinguishable from a natural-born human. Except that it looks exactly like the guy who goes spat in this thing. Yes. I mean, wouldn't that be weird once you grow older and it just looks like you? Like, how are you gonna explain that to like your friends and family? It's like, wow, your genetics must be potent. Like that, the fact that it's just basically recreated you fully. Nonetheless, in a small portion of cases, about % instances of -1 will be born with marked defects. Recorded defects include -1 being born with abnormal numbers of limbs, being born without skin, being born with the system positioned outside of the body, and potentially dangerous deviation in data expunged, coupled with significant increase in aggression. Okay, listen, you could have just kept it like, you could have just made it so like it's just a normal baby. You didn't have to go this far. Most notably, one instance of -1 was discovered to be emitting a remarkably high level of gamma radiation, forcing the immediate facility to be evacuated. Well, that's a... You got yourself a little Hulk baby. Transcript of label effects to the exterior of SCP-1106. Thank you for the purchase of your genuine Grow Your Own Child TM kit, brought to you by your friends here at the factory. Of course, it's a factory. The factory took a book from Dr. Von Tamer and was like, what? Let's make something fun. Fun. Procreation has never been so easy and so fun. Yes, see, fun. Just place your DNA samples inside and watch the Grow Your Own Child kit work its magic. Your child will be ready in less than 3 months, guaranteed. Result may vary. I wonder the amount of DNA you jam-pack into that cylinder, if that influences how well the child comes out. Or if that's like a... Or if that doesn't matter at all. It's like always fucked. A signal, the bat signal. Or is that like, it's like a... What if it's a signal that everybody can see, but the more closer you try to get, it always keeps the same distance. You're just like, wait, I've been walking for like an hour now, I should be closer by now, but it's still like the same distance away from you. And if you walk back, it's the same thing, it's just always the same distance. So it's not like it's, so you're like, okay, either like, you thought maybe at first like it was maybe just moving away from you. But then you move away from it and it just comes with you. And you're like, man, I can never reach that thing over there. Oh. Safe. Although SCP-1107 cannot be directly contained, it is important that knowledge of SCP-1107 not be released to the public. As SCP-1107 is difficult to receive, cover-up is easily accomplished by the insertion of agents in the United States National Aeronautics and Space Administrations. Oh, like a signal in space, like alien signal. It's like, oh, hey, there's somebody signaling us. No, no. That's not true. You're just imagining it. These agents have been attached to research groups studying the telemetry from the following long-distance space probes. Pioneer 10 surveillance discontinued in 2003. Pioneer 11 surveillance discontinued in 1995. Voyager 1, Voyager 2, New Horizons surveillance initiated 2010. More surveillance is only required should further long-distance space probes be launched. Addendum 9. Following the translation work by Dr. Holst, suggestions for reacting to SCP-1107 are outlined by procedures in Addendum 8. Description: SCP-1107 was discovered in 1977 in telemetry received from the Pioneer 10 long-distance space probe. It has been subsequently rediscovered by any space probe that ventures further than 12 astronomical units, approximately 1.8 billion kilometers from the Sun. SCP-1107 consists of a radio signal in an extreme low frequency range, normally observed at less than Hertz. The low frequency and intensity of the signal means that it is extremely susceptible to interference from natural and man-made sources of particle-based and electromagnetic radiation. As a result, it can only be reliably distinguished from background radiation when the receiver is an extreme distance from any source of interference. Most crucially, this includes the electromagnetic radiation emitted by the Sun, limiting reception to the outer solar system. The signal exists as a series of low-frequency, amplitude-modulated carrier waves. The modulation of the signals varies discretely from either high or low amplitude, displaying characteristics of a digitally encoded message. The bandwidth of these signals is extremely low, with estimation of a bit rate being around 90 BU. What's BU? Any scientists out there, explain to me what BU is. Despite its low data transmission rate, SCP-1107 clearly represents a transmission of intelligible data within our solar system. Currently, the information content of these signals is unknown. Triangulation of the signals by the available probes has determined that they are emitted by objects found in the Kuiper Belt and Oort cloud in the outskirts of the solar system. Okay. Low-bound estimates on the number of objects emitting these signals suggest that there are over million separate transmitters. Telescopic observation of some of the nearer transmitters reveals them to be asteroids-like bodies. Spectrographs analysis of these bodies reveal them to contain unusual high purity silicon and silicate-based crystals with phosphorus and boron-based dopants. Thermal telemetry reveals a discrepancy in the amount of solar energy absorbed on the hot sun-facing side of these objects and the infrared energy emitted by the cold hours-facing side. Foundation researchers have hypothesized that this discrepancy would be sufficient to allow extraction of energy for useful tasks. However, the energy extracted will be almost negligible, suggesting that such tasks would either need to be very small or be carried out over a long time. Given that no mechanical action has been observed by SCP-1107 emitters, the most likely purpose of this task would be some form of information processing activity. And we have an addendum that says, Addendum 8, limited to O5 level clearance only. Well, here I am. That sign can't stop me, I cannot read. As of 2000, Dr. Holt has made significant breakthroughs in the translation of SCP-1107. This was largely accomplished by associating certain common patterns within SCP-1107 with astronomical positions and planetary orbital information. Dr. Holst reports that the language of SCP-1107 bears similarities with computer-based languages, however with greater provision for parsing semantics content such as used by sentient individuals. The following is an attempt translation of the most broadcast signal found with SCP-1107. The low bit rate of SCP-1107 means that the signal has been recorded over a 10-year span with further recording ongoing. The unclear possible amalgamation of hot, life, and intelligence has ascended once more. It's time for us to act. Possibly an interrogative. I must either choose, debate, or possibly vote now. Given the implication of this, the VCS community has been tasked with suggesting an appropriate contingency response. Currently, the only procedures forwarded have been Protocol 06 Moses or Protocol 11 Porcupine. Neither of these are are considered satisfactory at this time. Okay. So yeah, looks like. Well, but keeping that a secret must have been tough. Oh, a swamp god. Wasn't there like a cult movie that had to do with like a similar concept as the not the thing, but like the missing link, but instead of water it was swamp. So imagine that. Excuse me. Okay. Euclid. The first recorded appearance of this phenomenon is dated 19 filed in Foundation records as an extra normal event. However, at least 10 repeating occurrences have since been verified, but precipitating numbered status and close observation. Data recorded by surveilled meteorological centers will be transmitted to Research Sector 09 and should be consistently monitored with similarities to past data. Early signs of reoccurrence of SCP-1108 must be promptly identified. Footnote: contained proposal should be submitted to Dr. Dara for review, photo taken shortly before SCP-1108's dissipation. Is that supposed to be like a hand, this part? And that's like the body? Oh, is this a swamp? It looks more like a lake. But maybe, hey, I might be wrong. SCP-1108 is a meteorological phenomenon which has only been observed along the southeast coast of the United States. 2 SCPs in the United States right now. I mean, I'm not sure if any of the other ones that we read today was in the United States as well. Recurring most frequently along the east coast of Florida. Florida. Most observers at ground level experience SCP-1108 as a heavy fog with no evident anomalous properties. However, from an elevation above or approaching 450 meters, the formation reveals a distinct shape. Based on aerial photographs in the surrounding ecosystem, this shape is best described as a resembling alligator Mississippiensis. The American alligator. Is that really the name? Oh yeah, now I see it. At first I was unsure I see. So this is the alligator's head. That's the body, and that's the arm and all that. And that's another arm right there. Okay, I see it now. At first I was really confused what I'm looking at. I see. So that it's a weird, like, heavy fog formation, and it looks like an alligator formation. I see. So it's like this white alligator just like strolling across this over you. In ideal condition, the anomaly appears is enough detail for eyelids, teeth, and individual scutes to be clearly identified. I mean, to be honest, if you go call yourself the Swamp God, that's probably the best image to have as an alligator. Aerial and even peripheral observation indicates that the vaporous mass even moves its limbs, albeit slowly, mimicking the reptile's distinctive gait. But how the fuck do you hide that from people? Imagine somebody in a helicopter and up there just flying around at that moment sees that. I mean, okay, maybe because it's like a fog, people can be like, it's just my eyes. But still. SCP-1108 most frequently appears a few hours before dawn, often emerging from an existing cloud bank at a dew point and temperature consistent with the fog formation. This gator formation will maintain its distinct size and shape for upwards of 6 hours. Okay, if it's 6 hours that long, then anybody who flies above that via helicopter or multiple times over above your helicopters could be like, okay, yeah, no, that looks like an alligator. There's no mistake, no mistake about it. It looks like an alligator. It even moves like an alligator. Like, come on. During a 6-hour period, SCP-1108 traverses an area of approximately 50 kilometers length. Okay. I mean, it's not pretty far for such a huge thing. Think about it, like, it's almost half a meter big. And it takes 6 hours just to, like, if it's almost half a meter big, it's, like, double that is 1 kilometer. Or, well, it's not. It would be 900. Well, it would be almost 1 kilometer. So the fact that for its own length, or basically for double its length, it would be taking around... I wonder how long it would take. I would have said 15 minutes. But I might be wrong. No, it's definitely not 15 minutes. It's shorter than that. Because 6 hours. If you did 6... Yeah, I would say like 7 point something minutes per kilometer. Something around that line, I guess. Always towards the bordering Atlantic. The foam appears to gradually dissipate into the atmosphere. I would feel bad if all it tries is just be like, one day I will reach it. Pfft, no. Effects of the local ecosystem do not become apparent until after the formation's departure. These apparent influences have so far included an irregular rise in freshwater levels and an abnormal displacement of local wildlife. Oh, okay, so it does do something to it. Like, at the end, like, it was just an SCP that just wandered around and did nothing else. That's still problematic, because how do you hide that? But of course, it does something else as well. Specifically, in areas directly overshadowed by SCP-1108's passage, adult alligator Mississippiensis have been found congregating in the dozens. The infestation occur far from areas highly populated by the native reptile, which appear in greatest numbers on private property and suburban developments, favoring swimming pools. The lack of data from prior occurrences makes it difficult to predict whether the size, range, and extent of the phenomenon's influence have remained stable or increased over time. Recorded appearances so far follow a regular interval, occurring up to 3 times every 2 years, always preceding the wet seasons of June, September. See addenda. Excerpt from Field Report 16. Notable events which took place within 24 hours of SCP-1108's appearance over the 2,185.2 square meters of residential space in B County. 37 reports of juvenile and adult American alligators on private property. Just wondering, like, hey, I live here now. Woman reports adult male alligator inside of her kitchen. Local media reported specimen's length as 4.3 meters? That motherfucker be long! Can't believe I finished a whole bottle of water by myself all day, all night. 6 reports of alligators attempting to enter homes while behaving not unprecedented. Number of instances highly abnormal. 3 non-fatal attacks of alligators on humans, 1 resulting in significant injury. 1 fatal attack of juvenile male alligator against adolescent. 18 reports of missing pets. Yeah, of course, it's just... Of course, this happens in Florida too, man. Out of all the places in America, Florida gets this one. The Florida Water Management District recorded an average of 16.5 centimeter rise in drainage canal levels despite the lack of precipitation, as the majority of the southern portion of the state is kept above waterline by an extensive network of such drainage canals. Any significant rise in freshwater levels could cause significant damage to populated areas. Local wildlife control had sufficient manpower to prevent undue fatalities. However, it is unlikely that state budget or resources could adequately contain repeat occurrences. It is unknown at this time whether the intrusion of alligator Mississippiensis was a displacement of existing creature or indicative of a significant population increase. Necessary information control protocols were enacted without incident. Addendum 7.1. As of the 6/21st, SCP-1108 has made 2 consecutive appearances. Only the second was accompanied by an influx of alligator Mississippiensis. However, the rise in water levels mandated flood evacuated in 2 counties. The extent of possible infestation of alligator Mississippiensis in flooded areas cannot be determined at this time. Addendum 7th, 9th. During the most recent occurrences, field researchers report that a previously unrecorded phenomenon described as a series of low, drawn-out rumbles which were sustained over several hours. Radiometric measurements taken during the course of these observations do not indicate temperature changes conducive to creating lightning. However, the subsequent recordings to bear a striking resemblance to the male alligator's bellow. Okay, let's listen to it. Okay. I don't know how I would feel if I expect a lightning and then I hear I'll be like, is Mother Nature having a stroke? What's happening? Okay. Last one, the painkiller. Well, we had a bunch of SCPs that were about healing, and SCP-914, that's the one, made different versions of 500s before, and one of them was called the painkiller. But maybe the painkiller is just the way it kills the pain is by killing you. Oh, never mind, it's safe. Safe. SCP-1109 is to be stored at a safe class storage space at site. Oops, excuse me. As per standard procedure, and permission must be obtained from the current level 2 supervising researcher, currently Doctor, before it may be removed from storage for testing purposes. The edges of any sharpened instruments contained within SCP-1109 are to be covered during storage, so that handling the instruments cannot result in accidental injury. At the conclusion of, because probably an accidental injury caused the effect to happen. At the conclusion of testing, all intact instruments must be placed back inside SCP-1109. Damaged instruments or instruments no longer fit for purpose or to be disposed of but must not be used. During disposal or transport of instruments, the instruments must be kept covered and placed inside a durable container resistant to cutting in order to prevent accidental exposure to the effects of SCP-1109. Personnel affected by SCP-1109 must attend a regular basis medical examination to detect any injuries incurred as a result of SCP-1109's effects. Additionally, those entering the 3-month stage of exposure are required to attend regular psychological review sessions. They must be accompanied by whenever possible by another staff member who has basic first aid training to avoid injury or damage caused by their actions. Personnel affected by SCP-1109 are barred from participating in any test or role involving handling of fragile materials, which requires fine motor skills or which involve combat. Description: SCP-1109 is a black leather doctor bag, approximately 44 centimeters times 21 centimeters times 22 centimeters, with a metal fastener over the opening and a leather carrying handle. The words "Akeso Medical will take your pain away" are printed on the side of the bag. Joe's abortion clinic, no fetus can beat us. Uh, Kessel's medical closed in 19, and no member of the company has yet been found who knows anything of the subject or its properties. Oh, what a good song. I'm not sure if I'm going to end with the song, but it is a good song to have as one of the last ones. The anomalous effects of SCP-1109 become apparent when, for people who cannot hear the song right now, imagine hip-hop and jazz combined. And that's what this guy makes. It's beautiful. But listen to Serendipity, or I would say either listen to Serendipity or Colors by Kenichiro Ishihara first. Those are my two favorite songs. I would also say Rise Sun and Luminous Swing are pretty good. Okay, Inside Your Heart, which we heard before, is also pretty solid. But yeah, it's very chill, but also very funky. Like, it just gives you a nice feel of the funk. The anomalous effect of SCP become apparent when any form of instruments or tool with sharpened blade or point is placed in the bag and the bag is closed. Testing shows the instrument must be left in the bag for approximately 30 seconds before effects become noticeable. Any medical instruments left in the bag is rendered sterile and clean upon its subsequent removal from the bag. However, when a sharpened instrument is placed in the bag, it takes on a second property. Any incision, injections, or other procedures performed using these items on a human being are seemingly painless. Hey, that's basically what I said for the young surgeon kit. Subjects are aware that they are being operated upon and do not report a lessening of tactile sensation or numbing during the procedures, and may describe the experience as unpleasant but do not register any form of pain. Approximately 2 weeks from initial exposure, subjects cease being able to register pain in any context. This suppresses pain-based reflexes and can lead to accidental injuries and sometimes serious errors in judgment due to the subject being unable to notice that they have been injured. Approximately a month. I mean, isn't this what you kind of want for the D class? Just like give a quick stab, and then they just don't feel any pain anymore. Which then, I mean, they still probably are afraid of things and death, but then at least the pain aspect of it would not bother them as much. Approximately a month from exposure, subjects lose the ability to perceive any form of physical pleasure. Okay, that might be a bit of a problem. Emotional pleasure is unaffected, and subjects can find most normal activity enjoyable, but lose the ability to derive pleasure or employment from any purely physical stimulus. This effect extends to the sense of taste and at least partially to the sense of smell, as evidenced by the inability of those affected to differentiate between taste and textures in food. After approximately 3 months from exposure, subjects began to suffer from steadily deadening of all tactile sensation. Oh god. Okay, there it is. There's the consequences of my own actions. This begins with a gradual numbing of the extremities, but swiftly progresses over the course of several days to the point of being completely unable to feel any form of tactile sensation. Some subjects undergoing this process have been observed to develop masochistic tendencies and may resort to self-harm in an attempt to continue to register physical sensation. However, as the condition progresses, even the most violent or severe physical sensation become completely numb. At this stage, many subjects become severely depressed and begin to feel isolated or alienated from others. Yeah, of course, you just don't feel shit. This is not considered to be an anomalous effect and is simply the psychological response to the loss of one of the senses. Yeah. Only the sense of taste and touch are affected, and no lessening of the body's ability to function is observed. So hearing, smelling, and seeing it still works. Yeah, that makes sense. The subject loses much of their fine motor functions as a result of this, as well as lack of a reflex response to stimuli. With a purely tactile or pain-based response, subject... Ironic that we have fucking Michael Bublé saying I'm feeling good while we're reading an SCP that literally takes feeling away. I feel shit. I don't feel anything, dude. Subjects at this stage may also injure other accidentally due to an inability to register contact with them. Oh, great, yeah. See, I don't feel anything. Many overcompensate when applying force to an object, which can result in damage or injury. Tools which have been placed in SCP-1109 have developed these anomalous properties will retain them indefinitely. Even when separated from the bag, they lose the ability when the sharpened edge or point of the instrument is dulled or destroyed in some way. No incidental sharp points or edges on an instrument, such as jagged points caused by damage, will exhibit any anomalous effects. Only the primary cutting edge or sharpened point of an event is affected. Effects only extend to items extended to possess a sharpened point or cutting edge capable of puncturing skin. For example, a sharpened pencil placed in SCP-1109 will not manifest any anomalous properties even if its point punctured human skins. Well, a bread knife placed in SCP-1109 will develop anomalous properties. Yeah, that makes sense. It can basically like differentiate between something that is meant to cut and something that is not meant to cut, even if it's sharp enough to do so. And then 1, injuries and an incident involving SCP-1109. Oh boy. A1-1 at 11:12 p.m. Oh god. On Agent died in his sleep. Autopsy confirmed the cause of death to be an internal hemorrhage of initially unknown source. Careful review and investigation of the circumstances of his death have led to the conclusion the agent received a small cut while transferring an instrument that had been removed from SCP-1109 for disposal 13 days prior to his death. Agent did not register this due to the painless nature of the injury. The day prior to his death, he was involved in an incident in which a group of D-Class became violent in an attempt to resist Foundation authority. Agent was injured during a physical struggle with one of the D-Class, in which he sustained significant internal injuries while he failed to recognize due to the influence of SCP-1109. Shit. So, of course, that just became worse and worse. It is believed that Agent would have survived his injuries had he sought appropriate medical attention, but mistakenly believed he had escaped the electrocution unharmed, and died as a result of his injuries during the night, some 10 hours after his initial injury. But in the same time, if there was a fight happening, and you get hit, but you don't feel the pain, do you really think, like, oh man, I must be so tough that I didn't feel anything? I'd rather just go to the doctor and be like, sir, So listen, I got punched brutally multiple times in this area and didn't feel anything. Can you please give it a check? Testing of SCP-1109 has been postponed in order to facilitate a restructuring of containment procedures to minimize further exposure of Foundation personnel. A1-2 Agent died at some point between 8 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. while in his home on cause of death was gunshot wound to the right temple, believed to be self-inflicted. Oh shit. Is it because he didn't feel anything anymore? An audio recorder found by the body contained a pre-recorded message to his loved ones and colleagues that the Foundation blamed the object's influence for his mental state, ending with the statement, well, what's the point in living if you feel like a ghost already? Containment procedures have been modified and personnel exposed to SCP-1109 are now required to submit to mandatory psychological evaluation. To be honest, and this is very dark to say, this SCP would make suicides a lot less scary. I know that's very dark to say, but like, you would not be afraid of the pain because the pain doesn't exist anymore. It would be so fucked. I feel like a lot of people would die more via suicide if this SCP was a real thing in our world, because they would just be like, oh, I don't want to live anymore, but I'm scared of the pain, and then just, use this, and then wait for the pain, for all sense to not exist anymore, and be like, well, now I can do it. Investigation by Foundation personnel led to the A1-3, by the way. Investigation by Foundation personnel led to the discovery of a civilian apparently suffering the symptoms of SCP-1109 exposure. Further investigation led to the discovery of an SCP-1109 affected scalpel, which has somehow been transferred into a surgical theater in hospital. It is unknown whether the scalpel originated from SCP-1109 prior to its containment, if another item similar to SCP-1109 exists, or if an instrument from SCP-1109 was somehow removed from containment. An investigation into the matter is currently underway, but agents are advised to pay close attention to any reports of painless surgery while conscious, or of people with no ability to resist the pain. An addendum 2, Dr. has received requests to use SCP-1109 on D-class personnel involved in the handling of certain objects which cause intense physical pain or pleasure. This request is currently pending approval. Okay. Alrighty then. Here it is. I love how one of them is so long it just crosses over to the other side. But here's the list. Yeah, the Blue Witch phenomenon, I think it's just... the imagery is unsettling. You have this basically corpse being just chilling on the ground, and then suddenly it starts to rain. By the way, quick last check. But yeah, as I was saying, it starts to rain, and next thing you know, another version of it gets created, but it looks wrong. It just looks like this like rushed, put together being. Yeah, it's just growing your own child, kid. I mean, it just reminds me of grow your own grandpa, and also the idea that like the child could come out absolutely formed. The first two are in a similar vein of like creating a life out of nothing, or at least out of something, and it just comes out wrong. In the first one's case, out of an existing corpse, and the second one's case, out of DNA from one person. Swamp God, I think that's a cool. Would be such a cool idea for like an animated short or for a video game. Like imagine you just in a fantasy world in a video game, and you just look across this mountaintop range view, and you see in the distance like this fog, like alligator slowly coming closer to you. That's kind of like the moon from Majora's Mask system. Like the moment it gets close to you, that's when the game is over. So you have like a certain time limit. It would be cool. Would be cool. It's just this giant like alligator just slowly moving closer. You can always go back to the mountaintop to check like how close is it, how much time do I have left to do some stuff. Yeah, and it's like this system where like you have to be fast. It's not like it's like a part of the story where like. If you do all the side quests you want, and then once you do the story quest, it actually happens. No. There's a time limit. And then make it like a roguelite game, you know? Like, you have to, like, fight that thing over and over and over and over again. And you just have to, like, farm or grind or, like, get new items as fast as possible. Gaia's Blood, I mean, listen. The chance that Gaia, good old Mother Earth, might want to get really pissed at us and do all this. Who knows? It might happen. But it's a cool idea that it's not. I mean, I would have been okay if Gaia herself just decided to do that. It wasn't manufactured. But the fact that it was manufactured by humans gives it a different twist of like, oh, this is fucked, because like they created a thing that just becomes stronger the more you fight against it. It's messed up. Painkiller. I think I pretty much said what I wanted to say about this one. Like, if this was real in our world, I think it would be a very dangerous one. Nose crab. Damn, it's a shame it's not the thing I said. Well, how hilarious would that have been? Like, yeah, it's a crab that just steals your nose. But no. It grows in your nose. It makes you slowly but surely go blind because it just presses against your like this section right here. Like it just presses like right here. So you're like, and then afterwards the pain is so big that you just like, it's just fact, bro. Dr. Von Taman's young surgeon transplant kid. That kid had it coming. It specifically even says, hey, find yourself somebody who's missing a finger. And he's like, nah, I'll give myself another finger. But instead of that, he's just like, help. An interesting topic, Twitter. It is Twitter, the SCP. You just give out a topic and let people just go ape. Neuropolypore. Yeah, mushrooms. Traveling mushrooms. But yeah, I mean, I think like it's again not the worst case scenario. I mean, like at the end, just burn it. A signal, yeah. That's gonna be must be very hard to hide that stuff, right? You're getting like a signal from space. How are you gonna hide that from like 8 billion people? Well, not 8 billion, like 7 point something billion people. Like, how do you want to hide that? How? But yeah. So, I hope. I was about to say, nobody watched this, so I can't really say that people. I hope people enjoyed the music, because nobody was here to do so. And for people watching the VOD right now, there is no music. I mean, there's music right now either in the ending screen, because there, now you have music. Well, again, the VOD you won't have it, so. But yeah, it's a small little test. It's like I want to do this for like future streams in general anyway. Have my own music and stuff like that, or anything that could be like, be seen as copyrighted to play in the background, and then like once the VOD comes out, it's not there. Would be cool. Would be nice. I mean, of course, I'm not saying like I'm gonna like do something that's illegal, but like I mean stuff like that maybe shouldn't be played out loud of the stream the whole time. Because for example, when I do like Minecraft streams, because I pixel art, right? I usually watch something. Sometimes I watch a movie. And of course, I'm not going to show the movie on stream, but the audio might be on. So it's a good way to like prevent that from happening. Yeah. I don't know. Saying this out loud now, it does sound like I should just keep it to the music aspect of it and not to anything else. Just this. Because the other thing could get me in massive trouble. So I'd rather not do that. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I see you all tomorrow for the